Hello class. In this little video we're going to take a look at some problems from section 5.3 on the fundamental theorem of calculus. So I'm doing some problems from the sheet that you have. I'm going to start with number 8 where we are taking the integral from 8 to 27 of 10x to the 2/3 power plus 8x to the 1/3 power dx. So first let's just find our antiderivative or integrate. So here I'll have 10. Remember, we'll raise the power by 1, so this is going to be x to the 5/3, and then divided by 5/3, which is really multiplying by 3/5, the reciprocal. Then we have 8 times, again, raise this power, that's going to be x to the 4/3, and then multiply by that reciprocal 3/4. Let's see what we've got. 5 into 10 is 2, so this gives me a 6x to the 5/3 power plus 4 into 8 is 2, that gives me a 6, and then x to the 4/3 power, and we're going to take that integral from 8 to 27. So the first thing we're going to do is plug the 27 in for x. We've got 6 times 27 to the 5/3. All right. Plus, and then plug in the 27 here. That's going to be 27 to the 4/3. And then minus, and then you're going to plug in your 8. So I'm just, notice I'm just putting the 6 out here for both of these. I'll put the 6 out here. Plug in your 8. That's going to be 8 to the 5/3 plus 8 to the 4/3. Let's see what we get. Remember that the denominator of that power is really the index on the radical. So what I really have here, if I were plugging it in, is the cube root of 27, which is 3, right? And then we're going to take that 3 to the 5th power. So let's see what I get there. 243. When I take 27 to the 4/3, again, the cube root of 27 is 3, and then 3 to the 4th power is going to be 81. And then minus, right, your 6 times 8 to the 5/3. Well, the cube root of 8 is 2, so that's 2 to the 5th, which would be your 32, plus 8 to the 4/3, the cube root of 8 is 2. 2 to the 4th is 16. And then it's really just a matter of, plugging everything into your calculator and seeing if we get this. And when I plug it in, I have 1944 for this first part, minus 288. And when I subtract that, I get 1,656. 1,656. So really the main thing here is making sure you're plugging things in carefully. Remember that a fraction, exponent, the denominator is the index on the radical, and so then you can work that out. The next problem I'd like to do is number 11. So take a look at number 11. On your page. So we're going from 4 to 9. 5x plus 2x squared over the square root of x dx. So the first thing we want to do is rewrite this. Remember, the square root of x is x to the 1/2 power. So let's go ahead and see if we can subtract those exponents. So I'm taking my integral from 4 to 9. This is a 5. That's going to be x to the 1 power over x to the 1/2. And 1 minus 1/2 is 1/2. So that'll be x to the 1/2 plus 2. And when I subtract here, I've got x squared over x to the 1/2. So 2 minus 1/2 is 3/2. And now I should be able to integrate. Remember what you're doing here. You've got your 5. I'm going to raise the power. So 1/2 plus 1 is 3/2. And then multiply by the reciprocal, 2/3, plus 2. Here, my x, there's an x there. 3/2 plus 1 is going to be a 5/2. Multiply by the reciprocal, 2/5. And that'll give us our integral. This is 10/3 x to the 3/2 power plus 4 over 5 x to the 5/2 power, and we're going to take that integral from 4 to 9. So first we'll plug in our 9. 10/3. That's going to be 9 to the 3/2 plus 4/5 9 to the 5/2. Then remember, we have to subtract off. I'm going to group this first part together here. Got to be real careful. And then we'll plug in our 4. So I have 10/3 times 4 to the 3/2 plus 4/5 times 4 to the 5/2. I'll put all of that together. Again, that denominator is the type of index that's on your radical. So here I've really got a 10/3 times the square root of 9 is 3, and 3 cubed is 27. I've got a 4/5 times the square root of 9 is 3. 3 to the 5th power is, what, 243. There's the first part, minus 10/3. Here I have 4 to the 3/2, so the square root of 4 is 2. 2 cubed is 8, plus 4/5 times. The square root of 4 is 2, and 2 to the 5th is 32. And then it's just a matter of, let's plug in. You could cancel as much as you want or just pop everything in. I'm getting here 90 plus 972 over 5 minus 80 over 3 plus 128 over 5. Okay, and then plugging all that in, be careful to distribute the negative correctly there. I've got 3,482 over 15, and that would be your solution. It's really, the biggest thing here is being very careful on how you plug everything in into your calculator. Use that A, B over C key, your fraction key carefully. If you are putting in a number, let's say you wanted to put in 9 to the 3/2 power, make sure you put a parentheses around the base, the 9, and then also put a parentheses around that exponent to the 3/2. I mean, that's fine if you want to do it that way. You just got to be careful about all the things that you're plugging in here, because it's easy to make a careless mistake, and that's for sure. Our next problem that we're going to take a look at is number 16 on your sheet. So let's see if we can take a look at 16. All right. Number 16. Our integral from the natural log of 2 to the natural log of 6 of 4e to the x dx. Well, integrating e to the x is easy. It's just e to the x. So this one is still going to have the 4 in front of it, and then e to the x, and we're just taking this from the natural log of 2 and the natural log of 6. So we'll plug in our natural log of 6 first. And then subtract 4 times e to the natural log of 2. And something that might have slipped your mind perhaps, e to the natural log of 6 is just 6. So this is really 4 times 6 minus 4 times. This is e to the natural log of 2, which is just 2. And there we go. This one's a lot easier to plug in. That's 24 minus 8, and I'm getting 16 for that one.